The main goal failed. A dismayed Meghan dragged Harry back to America when the plot collapsed.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The Sussexes love to talk out of both sides of their mouths. One minute, they are just these helpless victims of the evil firm, sent adrift without any guidance, without any money, without any hope. And then the next moment, they are fiercely independent rogues that the firm didn't know how to handle because they were just so outstanding. I mean, they simply cannot pick a lane, and that's why we can't trust anything they say anymore. I do believe that Meghan is the one who comes up with most of these lies, and then she tells Harry what to say. I mean, she has gaslighted him like a pro. She has whispered all kinds of stuff in his ear. She took his feelings of resentment and paranoia, and she encouraged them so that he really believes his family treated him so horribly, so unfairly. But the reality is the exact opposite. They spoiled him, they sheltered him way too much because he was so jealous and he needed a lot. He was a difficult child. Diana herself even said at one point that she didn't know what to do with him. He had become such a handful. A lot of times it was easier to just give in to his tantrums than to teach him a lesson. And that's also why, in spite of the fact that Harry failed the entrance exams for Sandhurst, the Queen made sure that he would get in. He was getting into a lot of trouble back then, and they figured it would be a good idea for the army to babysit him for a little while until he got it together, and hopefully the army could help him turn into a man. Well, clearly that didn't work. And a source today has reported that Meghan Markle found it much more boring and less plush than she realized. Also, Harry wasn't nearly as rich as she had hoped, or at least she didn't have access to it. She found it humiliating having to take second place to the Cambridges, couldn't bear the negative press, got so homesick, felt low after the baby, yearned for her premarital freedom, and decided to leave as noisily and ungraciously as possible, making as much money in the process as she could. If you go and look at the old photos of when Meghan was around William, I mean, the way she looked at him makes me want to vomit. Every chance she got, she was making bedroom eyes at him. Luckily, he saw right through her. Harry was simply a stepping stone so that she could get close to William. It has been made public by friends, and where this evil demon is concerned, I use that term loosely, that she systematically nurtured friendships with people who could eventually connect her with the royal family. This was all carefully planned. Apparently, she was absolutely obsessed with Catherine's wedding and even Catherine herself, and it was in a very scary way too. Her goal was always to get William, and when it became obvious that he was never going to want to be with somebody like her, she decided she had to settle for second best, and that's how she ended up with Sperry. In the shallow Hollywood world in which Meghan grew up, loyalty isn't really a thing. People are not typically faithful to their spouses, so she decided it would be easy for her to get William. And that's why she was always batting her eyelashes at him, but when he would ignore her completely, she decided the Duchess title was enough, and so that's why it was okay for her to be with Harry. And then, because she's such an evil narcissist, she successfully alienated him from his brother, his father, and the rest of the family by encouraging the fallacy of victimhood on Harry. She convinced Harry somehow that she was just like his late mother, that she was basically Diana 2.0, and she was the only person who really loved him, who really supported him, who really understood him. Now, they supposedly have 2 kids and they are living in another country, and it looks like Harry's stuck with her. He can't escape her web at this point. Eventually, she's going to abandon him for somebody with more money, we guess, but I don't know about that because she is getting a little old for that plan to work. I mean, at this point, Meghan is over the hill. She is past her prime. She's not a young hot thing anymore. Meghan, delusional as always, believes that she can still make it in Hollywood. What is wrong with her? She's a never was. Her only claim to fame is that she married this idiotic prince. And it looks like now her main goal in life is to ruin his family, claiming that they're racist and they neglected her, hoping that she can destroy what she could not control, which was the royal family. See, Meghan, as a narcissist, always wants to destroy anything that she can't control. But now, plenty of people see through her little schemes, and we ignore her whenever we can. I mean, she's a grifter, she's irrelevant. She's still calling up the paparazzi to take her picture, trying to get her name in the headlines because, well, she knows if she doesn't make it happen, she's going to slip into obscurity even faster. Many people suspect that one of the reasons Harry and Meghan left the royal family was they didn't want to have to answer questions about the invisible children. But I think there are more reasons than that. Meghan never wanted to stay. I mean, she even left a storage unit filled with clothes and other stuff in Toronto. That doesn't sound to me like somebody who intended to stay on as a working royal. Her plan the whole time was to marry Harry, have that lavish wedding, become more famous than she had ever been before, and then go back to Hollywood and just wait for the job offers to come pouring in. Well, obviously, there were a few problems with her little plan. Over the past few years, we have witnessed Harry say and do things we never thought we would see. What I have not seen Harry do, though, is really create a life for himself. He didn't do what he claimed he was looking forward to. He claimed he wanted a life of peace and quiet. But no, he had to follow Meghan because she's so hateful and vindictive and petulant, and the royal family refused to give in to their demands. At this point, though, Harry's got the life that he claims he wanted. He claimed that he didn't want to be a working royal anymore. He just wanted to be an ordinary citizen. Well, it looks to me like they've got that, but that's not what they want, because if they wanted to be ordinary people, they wouldn't be so obsessed with getting publicity for themselves all the time. If they were ordinary people, they would figure out some way to make money that didn't involve trashing Harry's family, throwing them under the bus, making up all kinds of lies about them. If they were ordinary people, they would go out there and get jobs and go to work every day. Royal expert Ms. Angela Levin said to The Sun, "It's sad to see Harry go down this path after what Princess Diana endured while married to Charles. You would think he would have chosen to honor his mother differently than settling for what he has settled for, and the distance he has put between him and his family. But he is solely responsible for what he has chosen for his life. Now he needs to live with his wrong choices. He ultimately is the biggest loser when it comes to his family. Meghan is only temporary and will go away one day. Then he's left with no family and in a mess of financial havoc they have brought amongst themselves. He was born with a silver spoon and never appreciated all that was bestowed upon him. He is ungrateful, and I'm sure Princess Diana would have been embarrassed for him. The old adage, be careful what you wish for, applies. Also, just like Meghan, he will never be happy. Always complaining and forever the victim. It must be an exceedingly tiresome life, as it is exceedingly tiresome to listen to and observe as they constantly force themselves onto us. In fact, we do know, since stepping down and signing lucrative contracts with Penguin Random House, Netflix, and Spotify in 2020, and have been fired from Spotify, haven't signed any more contracts since 2020, and have produced little to no content for the money they signed on for, a couple of books, 3 series for Netflix, 2 of them were absolute failures, and that podcast series was an absolute flop too. So I guess Harry has found freedom, but as is all too often the case for spoiled people like Harry, freedom is actually quite claustrophobic. And now he's got to sing for his supper. Daddy and the taxpayers of the UK are not going to pay for his lavish lifestyle any longer. And he's married to a woman who wants to spend $1 million per year on her clothing. I mean, how did he think he was going to be able to maintain that? Harry had people in his life who loved him, who supported him, but what did he do? He threw that love and support right back in their faces. Now he's finding out the hard way that Americans are not as gullible as he would like us to be. In fact, we can spot a con artist from a mile away, and obviously we know what we're looking at when we see Harry and Meghan. Americans don't want to hear what an unemployed loser has to say about anything. I know, somehow he is still finding opportunities to get up on stage and make a speech about absolutely nothing, but people are getting fed up with it. I mean, we don't want to hear what he and Meghan have to say. They are completely irrelevant. My news today has ended. What do you think about Harry? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments section. If you preferred our video today, don't be afraid to like and share it with anyone else who would enjoy it. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.